Hello everyone, and this is BioPhoenix here, and you're watching this on Xanadu Castle. So today we're going to be doing a book discussion on books that I would like to see get film adaptations or even TV adaptations. Stuff that hasn't been made into movies yet. And this is a topic that I recently found out about from a channel I've been following called Kevin Toll Reads, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I could do that. I could use a good video responses. I know on my main channel, I used to do video responses like all the time because, they were like very fun to do and very interactive. So, anyways, so yes, that will be today's topic. I will be going over a couple of different books that I would like to see get made into movies one day. So, let's just get right to it. Alright, so first, let's start off with my favorite author, Stephen King, just because, he's just done, like, so many great books, and a lot of them have been turned into great movies. And, of course, there's still a lot of books that hasn't been made into a movie yet, but before I reveal my main one I want to focus on, I do want to briefly go over some, like, honorable mentions I would also like to see. Like, for example, there's The Long Walk, which I would love to see that get made into a movie. I think it'd be perfect. And in fact, there was actually 2 attempts at making a movie of it, but unfortunately they never happened. One of them was actually going to be directed by George A. Romero, which would have been very, very interesting if that actually came out. Also, I think Revival would be a really cool one, because that book was just really, really great. And then one last one I'll mention too is, I think it would be really interesting if The Regulators got made into a movie. I would have to see it, just for how, like, crazy bonkers they had to do with it. But, yeah, those are some honorable mention ones that I think would be great. But the one that I really want to focus on today is one that I consider to be a very underrated favorite of mine, and that is Rose Madder. Yeah, this is a book that not a lot of people really talk about it too much, and when people do, it's like another one of his like very strange books, because it kind of starts out as a like a whole like realistic like drama with like spouse abuse, where a girl like ends up leaving her abusive husband, and she just gets up and leaves, and then like out of nowhere that goes into this like weird like psychedelic stuff of like a painting and such, which by the way I actually really like that. Like, yes, I know it is very strange to combine the two, but I don't know, it kind of worked for me. But yeah, I could actually see this being like a really cool movie, like especially with the way how they do like the whole painting stuff, like the way how I pictured it in my head, like I kind of pictured it just being like very trippy, very psychedelic, and yeah, I think it would be really cool to see that on the big screen. I think that'd be great. And the next one I'm going to be talking about is another favorite author of mine, and that happens to be Blake Crouch with the book Run. Yeah, so this was actually the very first Blake Crouch book I ever read, and yeah, I really enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was really, really great. And the whole time I was reading it, I was like, wow, like, this would make for a great movie or a great TV series. Like, I think it'd be really awesome. So, in case you don't know what this book's about, it's about this guy and his family, and they hear an announcement where they hear their name being called out, and then basically everyone is just trying to kill them, essentially, and then they just have to, run and like hide and all that kind of crazy stuff. And it was really, really fun, really thrilling, lots of like moments in there that really make you feel, and yeah, I really absolutely loved it. So yeah, this would be another one that I think just would be like really awesome and kick-ass if they were able to do it right. And the next one we got here is another one that I think would be really hard to do, but if they can do it right, oh man, like, it'd just be fantastic. And that would be Dan Simmons' Hyperion. Yeah, love this cover. Definitely, like, the best cover art that you can get for this book. But, yeah, anyways, though, yeah, so this is a, like, science fiction book that has, like, multiple different stories into, one book, and they all interconnect with each other. And yes, like I said, like, this book is just really awesome, and I can actually picture like this, like if they were to make a movie or like a TV series out of it. I think a TV series would probably be more appropriate for this, but yeah, if they did like a TV series, I can imagine just like the way how they like do all like the set pieces, like kind of like what you could see up like this cover and like the back, like how everything's like, kind of like old space looking. Like, I don't know, how do you describe it? Like, it's almost like like a lot of like covers that you would see for like a lot of like old sci-fi novels, where everything like kind of looks a little mushroomy and maybe a little bit psychedelic, but not like over the top psychedelic though. Like, I could see like a movie like that, like with this, would be really, really great. Like, man, like just seeing the whole priest story in live action, man, like I could see that like just being like really, really awesome. So Yeah, like I said, this one would be really hard to get right, just, you know, knowing, like, what it's all about, but, yeah, like I said, if they can do it, oof, like, it'd be wonderful. And the next one we're going to be talking about here is a book that I'm actually currently reading, so, obviously, I haven't finished reading it yet, but just from what I've read of it, I'm like, yeah, I could see this being kind of interesting and cool. That happens to be Green Rider from Christian Britain. Yeah, or yeah, I think it's Britain or Britain. I don't know. I'm sorry, but yes, yes. As you can tell, I have my little Pokemon bookmark. Yeah. So yes. So what this one's about is that it's about this girl who goes back from school, and on her way home, she sees a guy on a horse, and he has like 2 arrows in his back, and he's like about to die. So he quickly tells her a message saying that I need you to deliver this message to the king, and whatever you do, do not look inside the letter, and also do not let anyone else like see this letter. And then he dies, and then basically she has to take over his job by delivering the message on horseback. And yeah, like I said, just from that concept alone, like that sounds like it could make for a good movie. And yeah, from what I've read of this so far, like I'm kind of liking it. I think it's pretty good. Okay, so as for the next few books I'm going to be talking about here, I will be honest and say that the next few I haven't read yet. So I know some people would be like, wow, you're gonna like wish for a book to get turned into a movie that you haven't read yet? Like, what are you, a fucking phony? Yeah, well, here's the thing, is that just going off of the concepts of what I know about these books, I think they sound like they could be, like, really cool movies if they, you know, got made. Of course, I do plan on reading these, like, before they get turned into movies, obviously, but, you know, like I said, this is all just for pure fun discussion anyways, but, yes, anyways, so, the very first one we're going to talk about here that I haven't gotten to yet that I think would be interesting is a Dean Koontz book. And I've read a few Dean Koontz books, and I actually found out that not many of his books got turned into movies. Yeah, given like how many that he's written, you'd think there'd be like a lot, but no, there really isn't like that many of them as you'd think. But this one, however, did not get one, and that is Twilight Eyes. Now, like I said, I haven't read this book yet, but it did sound really cool. Like, basically, it takes place at, like, a theme park, which I think is cool. Like, a whole, like, like, a horror novel that takes place at a theme park. I just think that's, like, some pretty cool stuff, I think. So, from what I know, is that not only does it take place at a theme park, but it also has to do with, like, a guy who can, like, see these, like, goblin creatures, but apparently, like, everyone else, like, sees them as, like, normal people. So, kind of think of, like, the movie They Live with Roddy Piper. Yeah, kind of like that. That's what it reminds me of. And, yeah, like I said, I think this would be a pretty cool one to get turned into a movie. Like, just being able just to see a, like a dark and creepy, like, carnival, I just think would be, really cool to see. Alright, so the next one I'm going to be talking about here is one that I bought purely for the cover art and the back of the description. I was just all like, damn, that sounds like it's going to be really, really fun. And that happens to be Taylor Anderson with the Artilleryman series, and this is the first book in that series called Purgatory Shore. And yeah, look at that cover. It's like a bunch of dudes fighting a frickin' T-Rex. Like, I mean, come on. Like, that's amazing. So, yeah. So, as you might imagine, yeah, this is a series, like a historical fiction about these army guys. They're about to go to war with Mexico. This is, like, back in, like, I think, like 1700s, 1800s. Forgive me if my, my American history is off, because, you know, I'm from Canada, so we didn't really get taught that. But, you know, like, back in, like, those, like days of, like, early America, where they're about to go to war with Mexico. Well, these guys are about to, but then they end up getting transported to another world where they're on an island with a bunch of monsters, and, well, including a freaking giant T-Rex. So, I'm just over here thinking, like, man, if this was a movie, this would be, like, insanely awesome, and I would love it. So, yeah, so because of that, too, I definitely do want to read this book, too, because it does sound like it would be really, really, really fun. And the next one here is an author that I've only read one book from, but the thing is, that one book actually did get made into a movie, so, you know, can't really talk about that one. But there's other books that he has made where I just read these concepts, and I'm like, you know, I'm kind of surprised they haven't done that yet. And that author happens to be Clive Cussler, and this book is Atlantis Found. So, yes, I haven't read this one yet, but like I said, the only one I read was Sahara, and I really enjoyed the book to that, so that's why I got interested and wanted to, like, buy up, like, more of his, like, earlier stuff. And, yeah, so for those of you that have no idea, like, who he is or what he writes, is that he writes a character named Dark Pit. I don't know why, I just always thought that name was funny. So yeah, Dark Pit is is like this scuba diver guy, and he kind of like search for like treasure like underwater. So basically, think of like Indiana Jones, but if he was searching treasure like underwater, which I think is really really cool. And then on top of that too, it also has some elements of like espionage stuff, kind of similar to James Bond. Which, in fact, there's a lot of like James Bond elements I've noticed from reading Sahara, and I'm just like, yeah, like James Bond and Indiana Jones, like put them together with some underwater adventures, like. Yeah, that sounds like it would make for some great movies. And yeah, in this one, Atlantis Found, as you can probably tell by the cover, yeah, it's it's about Atlantis, so, I think Atlantis is one of those really interesting topics, so yeah. But like I said, though, I think a lot of his books, like, definitely do sound like stuff that would make for great movies. It's just, it's a shame that only 2 of them got made. One of them bombed, like, really badly at the box office, that was Race to Titanic, and then Sahara got made into a movie, but I've heard from a lot of people that it was not very good, so yeah, I don't know. But either way, though, like I said, I think there's a lot of really great potential with some of these. Alright, as for the final book I'm going to mention in this video, this is going to be a very goofy one, at least just judging from what I know of it, and that happens to be Horrorstör from Grady Hendrix. Yeah, so I will just say that I really love the presentation of this book, like how it like looks like an IKEA catalog, and there's even like little illustrations inside that it actually has like products of stuff that you could buy, which I thought was like very very fun and all that, and like even like this, like I think is cool. So in case you have no idea what this is about, this is basically a horror book that takes place in a haunted furniture store, kind of similar to IKEA. Yeah, it's like a haunted IKEA, which I think just sounds like really goofy, really crazy, and I think it would be like a really really funny movie. Like it'd be a good B movie kind of thing. And yeah, like I said, I haven't read this one yet, but it does sound like really fun. In fact, I do find that Grady Hendrix books actually do sound like they would be like fun reads. So yeah, I am looking forward to reading this one. This is the only one I have, so I probably will start off with this one first, more than likely. But he has done some other interesting stuff. But yeah, give me my haunted IKEA movie. And that's all the books I'm going to be talking about that I wish got made into movies and TV shows. So, as always, what are some that you wish got made into movies and TV shows that I didn't mention? Because, there's like a crap ton out there. And of course, you're more than welcome to do a video response too, because, video responses were really fun to do back in the day, because, but for anyone that doesn't know, YouTube back then used to have a video response button that was, like, really helpful, but then they took it away because they suck. Yeah, so anyways, without further ado, thank you for watching and commenting, and have yourselves a great day.